Hey, you sexy TV junkies. This is Tongue from Televised Uncensored, brought to you by BroCoolNation.com, and you're listening to the Obsessive Viewer Podcast.
This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Tiny at Obsessive Tiny on Twitter.
And this is Mike at I am Mike White on Twitter.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Thank you to Tung Law from Televised Uncensored for his little blurb there. It's a really good podcast if you guys want to check it out. It's from BroCoolNation.com. They do an episode each week that's about a certain season of a TV show, and they break down the season, and they decide which episode is the best. It's really in-depth and really good. And they actually read an email I sent them on their How I Met Your Mother Season 4 episode. So that was fun.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So how you guys doing?
Good. We are in an off week from the Summer of Sandler.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, doing good.
Yeah. And if our listeners listened to our Summer of Sandler episode, I apologize for the audio problems. It's such a pain in the ass. But yeah, hopefully we can diagnose that problem and fix it. But I don't know.
And if you haven't listened to it, never mind. Yeah,
never mind. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. You might think you're a little crazy. Don't go to the doctor. Don't send us the bills. So yeah, should I tell the story? Because it's pretty funny.
Sure.
Tell your story.
Okay.
Something happened to you.
Something happened to us last night.
Yeah.
Me and Tiny went to my girlfriend's play in downtown Indianapolis. It's by the way, it's called 6 Characters Searching for a Fringe. So it's part of the Indie Fringe Fest, and if you're listening to this before this weekend of it that this episode is releases, check it out. It's really, really funny. It's got a lot of meta humor that's like, it's still accessible to people that are unfamiliar with fringe theater culture and stuff. It's hilarious. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so
you call it her play. Did she write it or is she just in it?
She's a performer in it. It was written by, directed in features, I think he's like the theater director of a local high school here.
Okay.
It's really good. It's a bunch of characters who each have their own fringe play that they're kind of promoting it, and they're talking about it and stuff within the play, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's really funny. It includes the line back alley handjobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really funny. You guys should definitely check it out.
Back alley handjobs for crack.
Yes, back alley handjobs for crack. So anyway,
Wait, this high school drama teacher wrote something about backdoor handjobs.
It's very adult oriented humor. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So anyway, something funny happened before the play. So basically, I'm just going to read this from this long Facebook post that I posted about it on my private Facebook page. So the play started at 10:30. Me and Tiny went to a friend's party early in the evening before meeting Kirsten, my girlfriend, for dinner before the show. By the time we were done at dinner, it was 10 p.m. and Kirsten went into the theater. I was frustrated because I really wanted to buy her flowers for after the show, but I hadn't had time to do it. So fortunately, we had 20 minutes to kill before we were allowed in the theater at 10:20. At 10:30, the doors would be closed and absolutely no late entries were allowed. So we went to my car and I drove us down Mass Ave, which if you're familiar with Indianapolis, it's kind of this district of downtown that's all like cultured and whatever. But it's this long strip of street. And we were looking for a place to get some last minute flowers. I couldn't find anywhere, but we passed by the toy store and I figured I'd get her something from there instead. So I hopped out of the car, Tiny took over driving, and then I went to the toy store. Unfortunately, the damn place was closed. So I walked back to where Tiny dropped me off, and by now it's like 10:15. There's 5 minutes before we can start going into the theater, and 15 minutes before we're missing the play completely. And we're on the opposite end of Mass Ave on a pretty crowded Saturday night. That's when I noticed a marsh like right next door. So I walk around, enter the store at 10:16, buy some flowers, walk back out. I find Tiny at 10:20, again 10 minutes before we're not going to be able to see the play. And he's going the opposite direction from the theater on Mass Ave. And there's cars like all around him. So I get in the car, he drives around to one of the streets that's parallel to Mass Ave, and we're driving, and it's really nerve-wracking. So finally, and this is where it gets, like, crazy. Finally, we're back on Mass Ave in traffic at 10:22, and I'm panicking a little bit because there's a car waiting to turn into a spot, and we're like 2 blocks from the theater at a complete standstill. So I decide to get out and walk because maybe that'll be faster. So I get out and walk behind the slowest couple in Indianapolis for half a block, and then just start running when I get to the block that the theater's on. And then around that time is when I look to my left and I see Tiny passing by me with a clear street in front of him and heading off to park the car. So I continue running down Mass Ave, being super nervous I'm going to miss her play, and knowing full well how awkward and ridiculous I look. So around 10:26, I'm like 500 to 800 feet away from the door, and I see that it's still open. So I calm down, walk at a brisk pace while Tiny turns a corner after parking the car. He's holding the flowers, and I'm holding my side so I don't die. And so we get to the theater, and the woman taking the ticket sees Tiny hand me the flowers. And the following exchange takes place. She says, "Oh, is it a special occasion?" Me, panting, holding the flowers. You know, what? No, just for the play. And then she says about Tiny, "I guess he doesn't need a reason to show he loves you." And I'm like, okay. So I was too focused on how sweaty and gross I was to actually correct her. We get into our seats with a few minutes to spare, and we actually see the play. It's great and all that. We actually made it. Then after the play, the lady saw me, gave Kirsten the flowers, and she came up and apologized for mistaking me and Tiny for a couple. And I just kind of laughed, and I told her, "It's okay. He could only be so lucky," or something stupid like that. But
He should be so lucky.
he should be so lucky. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
that was
cute.
my adventure. I was really nervous because I don't know if you guys know this about me, but if something is going on that is in danger of being like me missing something, or I get really in my head and I get really weird about it.
You could have just said, "I get really in my head." And,
Oh, yeah.
Like at all times.
Oh, yeah.
For just about any reason.
For everything. Even when I was telling that story, I was like, am I going to cut this out? So, I don't know. Anyway, so that was my adventure last night.
It's a good play.
Yeah. Oh, it was very good. I
liked
really
it.
enjoyed it.
Good.
And I was kind of nervous because, like, obviously I'm, my job is to like it regardless. So I was kind of nervous because I knew it was about.
Your job is to say you like it.
Exactly. And I'm not a good liar. So I was kind of nervous, and I was like, because it's about like fringe theater, and I was like, I wonder if some of the humor is going to go over my head, or if I'm not going to get it. But it's very accessible, and it's very hilarious. So yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So our episode today is TV guest spots. It says guest spots, not guest stars. That's weird.
God, we had a whole thing.
We did.
Yeah, we spoke for a little while before recording this episode about what makes a guest spot.
Yeah. I just now noticed that it said guest spots. We were trying to differentiate between guest starring roles, and if it's like a guest star because the guy's famous, or if it's just guest. It was a mess. We have a 30-minute recording of us arguing semantics over the topic of our episode this week. So
It'll be a bonus feature on the DVD.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we've compiled a list that we're going to go through and talk about for our favorite guest spots. This isn't a definitive list or anything. This is basically us in the twilight of our. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I'm out of. I just read a whole thing in this very hot room. I'm sweating like I just ran down Mass Ave.
It's off the top of our heads list.
There you go. Yeah, we're kind of easing into an episode after doing the Sandler episode.
Yeah, it feels like we've been doing a whole summer of like Summer of Sandler and then a little something else. So it feels kind of weird. We've got one Summer of Sandler left, and we're gonna have to go back into some sort of regular routine.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like we've been working kind of hard on this on these some of these episodes this summer, especially Summer Sandler, because we did an extended potpourri, and I kind of had to, if I remember correctly, I had to kind of dig deep for something to talk about potpourri that wasn't Sandler related.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to just watch a lot of Sandler movies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough life.
Yep, it's a rough life of podcasters, but we're here with the TV guest spots. So, how should we intro this, guys? Should we just jump into it, or do you want to talk a little bit more about what makes a guest spot and what differentiates it from a cameo or a recurring role?
Let's do that. Why don't you take a shot?
Okay, so basically there are different levels of guest stars on television. Basically, you have the main cast, which is the main build cast, the starring Jerry Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the other guys. And then you have guest stars, which are guest starring, guest stars. Then you have like special guest stars, and then that we're not going to differentiate between that. But you have recurring characters that are written for the show that come in as guest stars, but they are recurring throughout the series. So we're talking about kind of the one-off characters that made an appearance in a TV show for 2 or 3 episodes, mostly consecutively, but weren't recurring or anything like that, and weren't cameos. So they had to have a full day on set, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So we've got a pretty long list here, actually.
Yeah, and they're also, by the way, for the most part, actors and actresses
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're like notable actors from either from other shows or from movies or from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So should we just jump right into it?
Yeah.
Do it. Give us one.
All right. The first one is the first of 6 that I listed for the show Friends. Do you just want to bunch those together or do one by one?
Yeah, we can kind of just say Friends. The first one you have listed is Brad Pitt.
Yes, that's one I kind of thought of when I posited this. This was the first one that I wrote down because it's such a memorable episode. It's the one with the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from season 7, 8.
Yeah, I believe it's season 8.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's season 8, and Brad Pitt is an old friend of Ross's from high school, and they were in the I Hate Rachel club. But hilarity happens when Brad Pitt's character finds out that Ross and Rachel are having a child together, and so there's weirdness. Yeah. The funny part about it, and kind of the sad part, I guess, in the end, retroactively, is that Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were married at the time.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of puts a negative ring on it, but
yeah, to me, it kind of feels a little too meta, or just like, I don't know, like I think so much of the jokes hinge on the fact that they're married. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, they're married, but he hates her. Oh,
yeah,
it's funny.
Maybe.
I don't know. It just, to me, I don't.
Sure.
Just the premise. I'm just like, that's a bit lazy.
Yeah.
But it was still funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Just from Rachel saying look at the way he's staring at me. I mean, he's just giving her just the dirtiest look, and she's like, she thinks that he's flirting with her.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Kind of their dynamic was really good. Plus the whole kind of running gag that he never really grew up from high school and he still resents her and all that. It's I got a huge kick out of it. The I Hate Rachel Club was good.
I never thought about it the way that you just put it, Tiny, but I guess I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think for me it works though. For me it's funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that it's kind of gimmicky.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I mean, they were the most popular couple in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
They had to address it, but at the same time, it was like, hey, we should have Brad Pitt come on at some point,
right?
Because we could just I don't know, do something real simple.
Yeah, and it makes me appreciate that they haven't brought in Anna Faris to Parks and Rec for Andy.
Yeah. But they have brought in Megan Mullally.
That's true, but she works a lot. She's really good in it.
Yeah.
And they also brought in Will Arnett,
mm-hmm.
which we'll talk about that later. Actually, it's on the list. Yep. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a standout episode for me personally. It's one of their Thanksgiving episodes. which were
always great. Yeah.
Oh, they were always great. Yeah. Anything more we can talk about Brad Pitt, or should we move on?
Let's stay on Friends.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But move on to another favorite of mine, the Bruce Willis episodes.
Yeah. As Ross's girlfriend's dad.
Yep.
Yeah. So great.
Yes.
Yeah, is his last name Hornswoggle?
No, that was the one with all the resolutions where Chandler makes a resolution not to make fun of people, and then Ross makes a resolution.
Elizabeth Hornswoggle.
No, that wasn't the same character though, because Chandler. I think because Chandler's thing was not make fun of your friends, and then Ross was going out on a date with the girl that he had the leather pants with. It's like, yeah,
Gotcha.
her name's Hornswoggle.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but they are both named Elizabeth, correct?
Yeah. I can't remember the first name of the one from the resolutions one, but yeah, the one in the Bruce Willis episodes was Elizabeth. Can't remember the last name, but she was played by something Holden, Alexandra Holden.
Well, Hornswoggle was definitely Elizabeth, but they are not the same character. You're right.
Hey guys, sorry to cut in real quick, but just warning you that we have that clipping issue, that chopping issue come up here again. We fixed it after a certain amount of time, but it does come back. So I apologize, and we're working on fixing it. So just wanted to warn you. Yeah.
Apparently, I think it's rumored, or I don't know if it's confirmed, that Bruce Willis was on this show because he and Matthew Perry had made some kind of bet about
on the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, on the whole 9 yards. Was it about how it would premiere or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something about like if it premiered at number 1 for the first week. Matthew Perry said it would. Bruce Willis said it wouldn't, and I think it did premiere at number 1 or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah,
it was more successful than they thought it was going to be. So that's why he was on the show. Yeah. Fun fact.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not wearing an obvious hairpiece, by the way.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But he's Bruce Willis. He can get away with
it. He is.
He can do whatever he wants. That's right.
Just the running thing of him not being able to open up, and then Rachel making him open up, and he starts crying. It's so great, just the way it was. And when he's like, they called me Chicken Boy, and then Rachel's really hungry because he's been talking for hours, and she's like, "How about chicken?" He's like, "Chicken, Chicken Boy." But yeah, just I like that kind of broad humor really played well in that episode.
Yeah,
definitely.
Next up on the list for Friends episodes, Tiny, do you want to bring this one up?
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin on Friends.
Yeah, I think I want to say it was like season 9. Yeah, okay, Tiny doesn't know, but
I don't know.
It's the one in Massapequa where Alec Baldwin is dating Phoebe, and he's very energetic, very positive and everything. And he plays it so well. Just the high energy of it is just so hilarious to me. He just makes a big deal out of everything. Even when Phoebe breaks up with him, he opens the door and he's like, "Isn't this the most incredible breakup you've ever had?" It's so funny. So funny to me.
You know, the part is funny, but I've never been a huge Alec Baldwin fan, so nothing about him being on the show excited me.
Yeah, I can take or leave him, really, honestly.
Yeah.
As an actor.
I like him. I mean, I love him on 30 Rock.
Right.
Especially given that he's so politically left, but the character he plays is so, like, super conservative.
Right.
It's pretty funny. And then, I don't know, I think he's great in stuff like... He's the best Jack Ryan, in my opinion, because we've had 3 of them now, or 4.
Oh, yeah.
However many. I like in The Hunt for Red October. Love him in that. Some of his other... Glengarry Glen Ross. Good stuff. Yeah.
He's okay. No, he's really good. He's a good actor.
I don't really remember him in Friends. I don't remember this episode, really.
Really?
I don't know why.
I guess it was one of the later episodes. It was...
It's a one-off.
Yeah.
And it's very sitcom-y.
They're going to Ross and Monica's parents' 50th anniversary dinner in Massapequa, and the B story is that Monica wants to make her parents cry with her toast, which Ross always does.
Okay, I remember that.
And she's like,
You'd call that the B story?
Oh no, that would probably. Well, I'm kind of torn on it.
I would guess since they go out there, that's the A story.
Yeah, that probably would, but I think I'm just Well, yeah, that'd be the A story.
For our purposes, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
A for Alec story.
For some reason, I just thought that Alec Baldwin's whole thing would be the A story because it's so prominent in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the A story is Monica trying to make her parents cry, and she does such a horrible job doing the toast. It's hilarious. She passes around a picture of their dead dog. It's a disaster. But yeah, so it's a really good episode. It's a good guest star. He appeared in like kind of a cameo in the end of the previous episodes where Phoebe meets him after, which that's a good episode in and of itself because she's convinced that this guy that she sees around all the places is like the one for her because they keep seeing each other and all that. But then they have a disastrous date where he's like, I read erotic novels for children. and then he says, I also have a PhD, and she's like, oh really? And he's like, yep, a pretty huge. And then they cut him off. But yeah, and then she meets him in a laundromat or whatever, and he's like that's kind of the introduction of his character. So now that I think about it, it might actually be season 7 or 8.
Yeah, what were you saying, 9?
I was thinking it was 9, but
by 9 we already got Mike, Paul
Right.
Rudd, Mike, didn't we?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it's wait, 7 or 8.
Hashtag the 7th friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and bring this one up. Again, on Friends, we're digging deep into this series. I mean, it had a lot of really good guest stars, though.
It's on the air for like 200 and some episodes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
10 years.
it did.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to a point in the series where it was like the weekly guest star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So this next one is from season 1. I believe it was season 1. Ben Stiller. He played a very angry guy that Ross. He would only be angry around Ross, and no one else would believe him. And it's great because he's again similar with Bruce Willis. Ben Stiller plays up this, or Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin actually. Ben Stiller plays up this high energy kind of thing, where he just freaks out over the most minuscule things, and it's really funny.
Doesn't he go off on a hostess at some point? Or am I thinking of something else?
You might be thinking of something else. The first one is they're at Joey's play, and then there's someone's in their seats, and then the guy's very friendly, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And then Ben Stiller's just like, "You idiot! Of course it's the usher they must know where they're going because they have so much training to go through." It's like, no, did you not think that it was weird that you were around by even numbers? Idiot! So yeah, but it was funny.
Wow.
Yeah, and then also the coffee one, that was a really good episode. I'm blabbering, but
Do you think it's time for a Friends rewatch?
I think so. I really do think so. But it's just because there was that part where Ross almost bumps into him and he has coffee and he freaks out and he's like, "Oh yeah, is that hot coffee? You were about to spill hot coffee on me or whatever." And then later he tries to replicate it so that everyone can notice it. But he's just like, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it." It's just so stupid. The way that it plays out is so good. It's funny. So yeah, what did you guys think of Ben Stiller on Friends?
Awesome.
He was good, hilarious. All the things you said.
Always funny.
Yes.
He's kind of like, I don't know. I'm surprised he doesn't do more TV
Me too.
because he has a lot of friends on TV. I know
Yeah.
he was in Arrested. Hey, pun, because that's the name of the show.
Right.
Hey,
He was in Arrested Development.
That's right.
Yeah, kind of forgot about
Tony Wonder.
Tony Wonder. Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Add it to the list.
We'll come back to him.
We'll come back to part two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mike, do you want to intro the next one?
Sure. The next one is when I brought this one up, and Tiny said I think it was one of the best ones. Danny DeVito played a male stripper on Friends. I guess this would have to be season 10.
Yeah.
Because it's for Phoebe's bachelorette party, and he comes in as a sad male stripper. And this was notable for me because it was the first time I realized how incredibly short he was.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like borderline little person.
Absolutely.
Short.
Yeah, he's like right on the border, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in movies, I guess they always, they paired him with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Arnold is so huge that I thought it just kind of dwarfed him. And,
right.
He was the Penguin in Batman, so he kind of just walks like a short person. But I've never realized, man, he's a short dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And he played the physical comedy in that episode so well when he actually does the strip for Phoebe. It was just, I don't know. It's funny because you can see Lisa Kudrow breaking character and laughing. It's so funny.
Except when he like tickles the bottom of her chin, that grosses me out. Like I'm getting the bad chills thinking about that right now.
I think it's supposed to gross you out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the gag reel for that part is really funny because like they can barely get through a scene. They can barely get through a few seconds without one of them breaking. It's really funny. It's golden.
It's really great. Yeah. Tiny, next one?
Sure.
We're running through these pretty quick.
We are going through these pretty quick. The next one is just an absolute pillar of acting in the late 90s. Freddie Prinze Jr. on Friends again.
Playing Skidandy.
Yeah. Emphasis on pill acting because he's not that great of an actor.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all right.
He was good in the teen slasher movies he was in.
Yeah.
Was he, though?
I liked him in I Know What You Did Last Summer. I applauded his run in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Seriously, the whole theater erupted in applause when he came back at the end and saved the day.
Really?
It was a really surreal thing in retrospect, but I was...
Did you see that movie in theaters?
Oh, Mike. Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
What were we in, like 6th grade?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably. No, we were probably in 8th.
You're too young.
Oh, I know. My mom let me see a lot of movies in the theater that I didn't need to see. Have you guys ever seen Deep Throat? As a toddler, man, that was weird.
I still know what you did last summer. You saw in theaters.
Yep.
We were in 6th grade.
Really? I still know what you did last summer because
I still know.
We were in 6th grade when Scream came out on home video, and then Scream, and then I Know What You Did Last Summer was post Scream. Mm-hmm. It had to have been like a year or two after, and then a year or two after that would have been 99. That would have been 7th or 8th grade.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer came out November 1998. We were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Holy! Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Oh, we were okay. I've got it wrong. We weren't in 6th grade when Scream came out.
No, we were in.
That's right. We were
3rd or 4th.
4th or 5th, I think.
Yeah. We'll say 4th.
Anyway, come back to this for Shocktober.
Yeah, we're getting a little too excited.
Yeah, but no, the whole theater applauded. But anyway, and I think that's the only time you can really say that about Freddie Prinze Jr. But he was in Friends as the male nanny, the Manny, and he was really good. He played kind of a very sensitive guy. And Ross, the episode itself is kind of strange and they make mention of it in the episode, but Ross is not really a manly man, but he has such a problem with Skidandy.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like something that they worked into the script just because to generate the conflict of the episode, because it really doesn't make sense for Ross to be all
it doesn't
weird
at all,
out.
and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
He's so perfect for the job. It's almost like they're like, well, we know we can only get him for an episode, so we got to get him on and get him off.
Yeah.
He's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Are they still
Yes,
married?
he is.
Still married to.
Go for them.
And now he works for
Good for
WWE.
Does he really? Is he like an announcer or a performer?
No, behind the scenes.
Oh,
I think he's a director.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. You gotta pay the bills somehow.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He did a run on. He actually did a run in the last season of 24, which the only reason I bring up is because he did an interview, kind of an expose interview or whatever, where he talked about how much of a dick Kiefer Sutherland was, I guess.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll find the link and I'll put it in the show notes, but I thought it was kind of interesting because...
Kind of really backfired on him.
Wait, did it?
Yeah, because like Kiefer Sutherland came out and he was like, I don't know what he's talking about. I always liked the guy a lot, or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like,
Huh.
I don't know what he's talking about. We never had any problems on set that I knew of. And stuff
Wow.
like that. Yeah, and like then everybody.
Skidandy.
And then I just thought it'd be. I did think it was kind of strange that he would say that because I mean that's the 9th season of a show or 8th season of the show,
Right.
and I mean it's like Kiefer Sutherland, like it saved his career or made him relevant.
Yeah.
So of course he would treat it with respect.
Yeah, I think he said I remember Freddie Prinze Jr. saying part of it was that like Kiefer Sutherland refused to do any scenes with him where like he wasn't standing on a box because I guess Kiefer Sutherland's like 5'6" or 7.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and he could never wear shoes.
Right. Yeah, that's right. He had
Yeah.
to have his shoes off all the time. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
I don't know. Yeah, who cares? It's 24.
It's Freddie Prinze Jr.
It is. So yeah, Skid Andy, good run on that one episode. Very memorable, even though the episode didn't really make much logical sense for the characters. But I loved the kind of subplot of not subplot, but the kind of the running joke of Joey and Andy like bonding and how he was kind of like, and you kind of get the sense
Joey
that,
learning.
yeah, and you got the sense that Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character is kind of a skis ball because he charges Joey money for the sessions. So yeah, you kind of get that sense that he's taking advantage of him. But it's funny. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
The one with the male nanny.
So we should probably wrap the Friends up.
Yeah, we should.
But I'll just go through the list of ones we didn't mention. John Stamos on Friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sean Penn on Friends.
Oh yeah.
Brooke Shields, Dakota Fanning, Dick Clark, George Clooney, and Noah Wiley.
Wow.
Huh.
Christina Applegate was one of Rachel's sisters. Julia Roberts was on Friends. Jennifer Coolidge was on Friends. Jason Alexander was on Friends. Winona Ryder. Paul Rudd, which we've mentioned briefly. He was more of a...
He was the seventh friend.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so there's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gary Oldman, Gabrielle Union, Fred Willard,
Oh
Elle
man.
McPherson.
Jeez.
I can't remember Fred Willard on Friends.
He was the zoo administrator,
That's right. Early Friends.
the one after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria,
Yeah. Damn.
Helen Hunt.
Yeah, that's right. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, in this next one, we actually have one more that we're going to talk about. We're going to put it together with two other shows that he was in. Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Should we move on to talk about him?
Yeah.
Now, Mike, you've seen Portlandia. I've never watched it. And
I have. I love Portlandia. He's shown up a couple times. One, he was the owner of a knot store. And then the other one, he was in a doily store.
A doily store?
And just basically doing his Jeff Goldblum thing, trying to sell Fred and Carrie the knots or doilies.
Huh.
I don't know. It's hard to explain, as are most Portlandia episodes, unless you see them, because they're just so absurd. But I recommend for sure.
Nice. I've always meant to check it out.
Yeah, you got to.
I haven't gotten around to it, but the other show, another show that he was in was he did a guest spot on The League, where he played he played someone's father.
Yeah, it was.
I haven't seen The League in like 2 years, so I don't even remember the characters that well.
I
But
can't remember the actor's name either.
yeah, he played a character's dad, and the character was dating Sarah Silverman, I think.
No, the guy, because what's the
I should have watched
Jewish
this
guy
episode.
with the glasses who's the character? Ruxin.
Nick Kroll?
Nick Kroll, there we go.
Yeah, that's right, yes.
He was Nick Kroll's dad.
That's right, and he kind of crashed on his couch and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't remember who it was that was dating Sarah Silverman. It was one of the other characters.
Yeah, it's one of the other guys, but was it a Thanksgiving dinner kind of thing?
There was like a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, and it was, the League, I'm kind of back and forth with about the League, because it's like a highly improvised show. And it kind of seems like anymore that they get, in at least all the episodes that I've seen, it seems like they kind of fixate on one specific, little, word that they come up with or term that they come up with that they coin, and then they kind of run it into the ground, like vinegar strokes, Eskimo Brothers. They kind of have all these kind of things, and it's kind of like some of it's just like, all right, just quit trying to be clever with the thing and have an episode. Like, I don't. It just rubbed me the wrong way. But this episode with Jeff Goldblum was kind of perfect because they had all their antics and everything, and then at the end of the episode, he's banging Sarah Silverman in the bathroom, and then they open the door to see what's going on, and they see him, and he's like doing his O face, his vinegar strokes.
Yeah.
And someone's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we just saw your dad's vinegar stroke." And it was just really really clever the way that it all came together at the end. No pun intended. But
Hey.
but yeah, it was it was good.
It is a good episode.
Yeah.
And then he was also on Friends?
Yeah, he was in a late episode of Friends, I think, season 7 or 8. But he was a casting director, or he was a famous actor, and he was casting a commercial or something, or he was in a commercial, and Joey was auditioning for it.
That's right.
Yeah, and he went to the audition really having to pee, and he didn't have a chance to pee, so he did the audition having to pee. And so he's like, "I love the energy. Come back for a second audition, and just do more of that." So
And of course, he just speaks in that weird rhythm and timbre that he always does.
yeah, which is his signature thing. It's
do that again. Yeah, I can't do a good impression of him, but
yeah,
he
he's
does a lot.
yeah, he's really
Finds a way.
finds a way. Yeah, but. So anyway, Joey comes back to the audition having to really pee, and he actually does really well. And then the best punchline of that episode, like the punchline of the episode, is just one of their most memorable to me. Is that he goes and hugs him. Jeff Goldblum hugs him and is like, "You got the job," and then Joey just starts peeing. And it's so great, just the way it comes together that way.
Yeah, does he like hug him too hard? And he has to pee because he hugs him too hard.
And the camera just shows Matt LeBlanc's face, and he's just like, "Oh." It's so funny.
Pee jokes are the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Toilet humor.
Yep. I was going to say, second only to fart jokes.
Oh yeah, we should do a whole episode for toilet humor.
Oh,
Well, we
jeez.
kind of have been.
Aren't we doing those all summer long?
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
Summer
what-
Sandler.
Same joke.
Good for toilet jokes and gay jokes.
That was a better fart sound than you did the last time.
Oh, thank you so much.
It wasn't good,
Oh,
but it was better.
that's cool. That's cool. Just keep driving down Mass Ave. Don't stop and pick me up.
Keep working on it.
Anyway, yeah. So our next one is from season 1 of 24, actually. Lou Diamond Phillips.
Never actually seen that movie.
You know, funny story, when I was a kid, I don't know how old I was. I think I was like, one of my earliest memories is just wearing out the tape on that damn movie.
Really?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to the whole I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of discussion that my parents showed me some weird movies when I was a kid. And that was one that I just kind of latched onto.
Huh.
I was like, oh, he's dead. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and I just,
Spoiler alert.
something about it, just, I loved it. So, yeah. Yeah, spoiler alert. But anyway, on 24, he played this, it's kind of a ridiculous premise, because it's 24, but it's like, there's a secret prison in the desert that Jack tracks down the whereabouts of the main villain of the season to, and they're planning like the prisoner's family is going to break him out of that prison, and Lou Diamond Phillips plays like the warden of it. I mean, it's not like a full-fledged prison. It's an underground prison that's hidden away from like the world, and it houses this like mastermind criminal guy, this Victor Drazen.
Yeah.
Which we could also
that's
add.
a heck of a name.
Yeah, we could also add Dennis Hopper, right? It was Dennis Hopper, right? Yeah.
He's in this season kind of a lot, though.
Not really. He's in the last like 4 episodes. Yeah. But anyway, he does a ridiculous accent.
Russian accent.
Yeah, like Mike, if you saw this episode, you would flip out because I know that you get really particular about accents. Like you would hate it with a passion. It's so ridiculous. But anyway, so Lou Diamond Phillips, it's kind of nice because I guess was he in I'm gonna get this wrong, something Guns, Wild Guns, Young Guns with Kiefer Sutherland. I get the sense that it was Young Guns with Kiefer Sutherland. I get the sense that it was kind of like a favor, like, oh, they're friends, and hey, I'm on the show.
Yeah.
And Lou Diamond Phillips is like, all right, let's see if I can get time off at the car wash. That's so mean. That's so mean.
That's pretty bad.
I'm sorry. I'm not apologizing because Lou Diamond Phillips doesn't listen to this episode, to this podcast. But anyway, so he plays a role, and it's kind of nice because it's like throughout the whole season, Jack Bauer's kind of going up against like higher level people and stuff, but he has kind of this rapport with Lou Diamond Phillips, and it's kind of nice, like a nice little break. And he even says to his boss on the phone, he's like, "Oh, he's a reasonable guy, but his hands are tied because he has to, I remember that for some reason." So yeah, not really much else to talk about with it.
I remember watching it, and I was like, "Is that Lou Diamond Phillips?" It was just kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Spoiler alert, like every other character in that damn show, he gets killed off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good example of 24 in its prime. Yeah, because that was a good season. So yeah, I assume Mike doesn't have anything to say about it.
I don't.
Did you ever see La Bamba?
Nope.
Oh wow. You might like it. Music.
You don't know me.
Yeah. Anything that has anything to do with music, I think you'll like, Mike. Have you seen Selena?
Exactly. That's a very like in-laws thing to say, or like your aunts and uncles would say, "Oh, hey, that's got music in it. You might like this."
Yeah.
That's true. Although I've thought that so many times with movies, I'm like, I think as a musician, I think Mike would like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, that is actually not so bad. I probably would, but like people who know we do this show and I do this show, like if they have a movie that's really crappy, they'll say, "Oh, I got a movie you have to see."
Oh no,
it's called God's Not Dead.
Oh no,
no, that's an example. I'm kidding. That's never happened, but you know what I mean, that kind of thing. Hey, you got to see this movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten the text?
What's the text? Oh, yes, of course I have.
Oh, luckily I have. No one texts me.
I got like 3 of them last year.
Jeez. Anyway. Have you seen Selena?
Yes. I think I saw it in high school.
Oh,
yes.
Nice. Cool.
Anything for Selenas.
Selenas. Anyway, so
the next one.
Yes, which this one I'm not familiar with. Mike, do you want to intro it?
Yeah, I brought this up. I've mentioned on the show a billion times that I loved Boy Meets World, and Fred Savage did a guest spot on Boy Meets World one time. Fred Savage, of course, is Ben Savage's older brother. Ben Savage plays Corey, and Fred Savage played professor in Corey and Topanga's one of their classes, and he starts to hit on Topanga, and it's awkward.
Yeah,
nice.
And hilarious.
Nice.
Does he close?
What's that?
Does he close?
Does he close?
Does he bang her?
Oh, does he close the deal? No, he doesn't.
Oh,
Okay.
Corey and Topanga are together.
I won't watch it then. Hey, they ain't married, dude.
What? They might have been at the time. I think they were
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
by the time that episode aired. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Just being
I thought for the longest time, back when I used to have more hair, that I was a dead ringer for Fred Savage. I thought he and I looked the same.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I always thought you had a bit of a Ben Affleck quality to you, Mike.
Oh, that's very generous of you to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you chuckle because you mean that in a negative way?
No. I just chuckled because I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing to say. Like, hey, friend, I think you look like a famous movie star.
Who's really attractive.
Who's really attractive. Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
Nah, Well,
you're making me blush on camera on the microphone.
Well, I'll take a note from Tiny. I'll give you some flowers. Anyway, so yeah.
So Fred Savage, Boy Meets World. Tiny, have you seen it?
Negative.
Don't remember it.
Sidetrack tangent a little bit. Have you seen Girl Meets World yet?
No, I haven't. And I read that. Shoot, somebody was supposed to be on it this weekend. In fact, it might have been Fred Savage was on this last episode this weekend. But no, I haven't had a chance to see it. Have you?
No, I haven't. But I've heard it's not that good.
It's not for us.
Right.
So.
It got renewed for a second season, didn't it?
It did indeed, yeah.
Nice. Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, should I enter the next one?
Yeah.
Go for it.
We actually have two episodes, two guest stars for this one show. Scrubs.
Mm-hmm.
First one I want to talk about is Michael J. Fox. Have you guys seen this episode that he's in?
No.
I think it's like a couple episodes.
I don't remember it.
Oh, it's so good. He plays because this is around the time that he was like first came out as having Parkinson's, and he plays this doctor with obsessive compulsive disorder. So they use that as a way to kind of mask the Parkinson's stuff,
like the tremors and stuff.
And it plays so well. Like there's a scene where he kind of freaks out. If I remember correctly, I wish I would have seen the episode before we recorded, but he kind of flips out and stuff, and it's like he's like this beacon of hope for all the characters, and it's like he helps all the characters resolve something, but he's kind of not tragic character, but he's kind of this tormented character because he's got this condition and all that stuff, and he can't really focus or whatever. And he has this really great breakdown scene in front of, I think it was in front of Elliot. It may have been in front of JD, but it reminds you why you love the hell out of Michael J. Fox because he's so great in it.
And when did that air?
It was like season 1 or season 2 of Scrubs. I can't really remember. Maybe later. I don't remember when it.
So it was a little after he went public with the Parkinson's.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah. And then on the same token, Sean Hayes in season 1 or season 2 did a really great guest spot on Scrubs where he played this kind of high energy kind of character who's always very likable, and he played this really likable guy, and it's kind of a good barometer. That episode is kind of a good barometer for why I'm so torn on how I feel about Zach Braff, because not really Zach Braff, but the character of GAD. I can't stand him half the time because he's so narcissistic and he's so self-centered. Because the whole run of the episode, he's jealous of Sean Hayes' character because Sean Hayes is stealing the spotlight of all the interns and stuff. So anyway, there's another really great scene where Sean Hayes throughout the entire episode he's got all this energy, he's being very positive and all that stuff and very well liked and everything, and then he has to tell a little boy that there's nothing they can do about his cancer and all that stuff, and then they find him crying in a stairwell, and then he's just freaking out, and all the pressure is really getting to him and everything. It's just a really really intense dramatic episode, which is some of the things that Scrubs did so well, was that they mixed the drama with the comedy, and it really was a good way to show how the medical profession is just really overwhelming. It was just really a really well put together episode and a really good display from Sean Hayes, who I just assumed wasn't really that talented, but he kind of surprised me in that role.
Well said.
Thank you.
I want to go back to Michael J. Fox for a second. I didn't see the Scrubs episode, but one of my favorite things was when he guested on Curb Your Enthusiasm for a little while.
Oh, I never saw that.
Tiny, did you see that?
No.
Well, for a show that's on HBO, like that show is, they're allowed to go a little more blue with the humor,
right?
And so, there's an instance where Michael J. Fox with his Parkinson's in full effect, like picks up a can of pop or something.
I saw a clip of this. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, and then gives it to Larry, and it of course explodes in his face. And
Isn't like the whole episode built around Larry not knowing if Michael J. Fox is a dick or if it's just his Parkinson's?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because he thinks that he's like purposely doing these things to mess with him, but it's
Right.
That's so genius.
Yes, it is.
He's done some good guest stuff since his diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because he did a good run on Rescue Me as well.
Really?
As a disabled guy.
Wow.
Like he was paralyzed from the waist down.
Huh.
So,
Wow.
and he was really good on it. He was funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, Scrubs had several good guest stars as well.
Oh yeah.
The Dick Van Dyke episode was really good.
Yeah, that's right. He played was it a doctor?
An older doctor.
An older doctor who couldn't keep up.
Yeah, he wasn't up on all the new technology.
That's right.
More good comedy drama balance.
Yeah.
That episode. So
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
John
he was
Ritter,
great.
Heather Graham.
John Ritter.
Yeah.
Great. Tom Cavanaugh too. He had
Cavanaugh.
a good
Brendan
couple
Fraser.
episodes. Oh my God! Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Those episodes are some of my favorite of the series. There's 2 episodes in particular where they both have similar narrative structures because like they're built around like JD not realizing that it's all kind of JD's fantasy or something in one of the episodes, and it's like this just complete twist at the end that makes you go back and reconsider every scene that you've seen, and it's all built around Brendan Fraser's character, both episodes, and it's I should put that on the list, but those 2 episodes are really great.
I forget how many episodes he was in.
2.
It was just 2? Okay.
Yep. I'm actually going to look up which 2 episodes so I can tell all the listeners to check it out because it's like 2 of my favorite sitcom episodes ever.
I remembered him, but for some reason I thought that he was in like 5 or 6 episodes.
No.
Because he was John C. McGinley's wife. He was her brother, right?
Right. Oh, wow. He's from Indianapolis?
Ooh, Brendan Fraser?
Or he was born in Indianapolis.
Nice.
Huh.
Who's your native?
Who's your native what?
Hey.
I'm sorry.
I'm almost there, by the way. He was in 3 episodes.
Okay.
He was in My Occurrence, My Hero, and My Screw Up. My Occurrence was the first episode he was in, which is the title is a reference to an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which is what the episode was, the narrative structure of the episode was patterned after, which that short story is about a guy who gets hanged and escapes and the whole thing, but it turns out that he was dead the whole time. And
Yeah.
If you don't know that story, go back to 11th grade English.
exactly.
Junior high English.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like
maybe.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8th grade. Yeah, because we didn't have the hot teacher. Anyway. So yeah, 3 episodes. I don't think. I think the two episodes he was in, that he was prominently featured, but My Screw Up was kind of just a cameo thing of his fantasy, because in the second episode he was in, the ending is very surprising, I'll say. But it's just really great run, pair of episodes. They're both in 2002, so find them. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it.
They're great.
Yeah. Cool. So does that do it for Scrubs? Tiny, do you want to bring up the next one?
I would love to. The next one is a legendary actor named Eli Wallach, and he was a guest star on the show Studio 60 on the Strip.
I'm kidding. God, I'm not a fan of that show.
You don't have a heart? It's okay. No, Studio 60 was an unfortunately canceled show. It was written by the incomparable Aaron Sorkin. And this was a great guest star. He played a World War II veteran, and he had kind of wandered into the studio. He sort of had some dementia or Alzheimer's, and he wandered onto the studio during a show, and they caught him trying to like take a picture essentially, and they finally got it out of him by the end of the episode that the picture included him, like he was in the picture, and he worked at that studio during the Red Scare, during the McCarthyism Red Scare era, and he was a writer who got blacklisted and he tells the story of how he and so many other writers got blacklisted and how he could never work again, and he wouldn't even talk about the World War II stuff. It was just really cool. Eli Wallach is just kind of a legend, I don't know, in my opinion. Like I said, in one of the most famous movies ever, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he played the ugly.
Cat movie of mine.
Yeah. But,
Oh,
anyways,
really?
Yeah.
may have to do that at some point.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Anyways, this is a great episode. I can't remember the name of the episode. It's only the series is only one season long. So,
Right.
If you haven't watched that series, watch it. It's awesome. Matt's wrong. It's awesome.
I just, I think it just got a little too preachy for a show that's about an SNL type sketch show.
I'm not going to do it with you. I'm just not going to do it.
Well,
I'm not going to do it. It's not what this episode is about.
it's not. Well, let's move on.
Yes.
Okay, so I realized that we just had audio problems. We just checked it, so I apologize for the run of the episode that had the audio problems. Hopefully that doesn't happen again this episode. We're trying to diagnose the actual problem, but, we want your thoughts and prayers are with us, we hope. So we're back. So Eli Wallach on Studio 60, good run on a show.
Don't.
Next up, Mike, do you want to introduce this new show we're going to do a couple of guest stars about?
Yeah, similar to Friends. In fact, the entire thing was similar to Friends. Is a show that I used to like very much. Not so much anymore. A show called How I Met Your Mother, or How I Met the Girl That I Fell in Love With before I met your mother, and then she died, and I went back to her, and your mother didn't really matter at all.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Kids?
I seriously want to take. I want to make a YouTube video that's just a compilation of every time Bob Saget said the word "kids" in the show.
Yeah.
And just put it on a loop for like 10 hours.
Gosh.
But anyway, yeah. So, like we said, How I Met Your Mother is very similar to Friends in every aspect. There was a BuzzFeed article about it, and I want to make a YouTube video that's a compilation of all the instances where Friends and How I Met Your Mother lined up and were very similar. But that's not what this episode's about, guys. Let's talk about James Van Der Beek.
James Van Der Beek.
Yes.
Yeah.
He played a man from Canada, eh?
Yeah, he
You did.
Yeah, and he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
A former flame of Robin Sparkles.
Yes. They went to the red line. They went in the crease. Yeah. Anyway,
The funny thing is you have no idea what that means.
I don't, but Indianapolis is getting a new minor league hockey team that I really want to go to. It's called the Indy Fuel, and they have partial season tickets, like nine tickets at a time, but they call it the quarter tank thing. I kind of want to buy it just because it's kind of cute.
Nice.
I'd get my ass kicked at a hockey game, though, just because I said I would buy the season tickets because they're cute. Anyway, So James Van Der Beek, let's talk about that. That's a very monumental episode also because it's Sandcastles in the Sand is the first episode he's in. And that's the episode where Robin and Barney bump uglies.
Oh, no. No.
That's the sound.
Take that out.
Is that not what they do?
That's
not what happens?
Several high fives.
It's a perfect sound.
Yeah. That's okay.
Gosh.
Ooh. Oh, my.
Well, it's what they f***ing listened to for the past couple minutes.
Yeah.
Past 20 minutes. Anyway. So yeah, he's hilarious. Like he put on they put like a fake beer gut on him. At least I hope it was fake. They balded him up and everything, and he was just really great. It's also the introduction of a couple running gags, the foreskins, the song "Murder Train" that's played throughout the rest of the series at different times. I love when they're talking and they're trying to build up Robin and everything, and like James Van Der Beek has that line where he's like where Ted's like, oh, I could work at a water park. And he's like, oh, go ahead. Oh, nope, you didn't put your hand up. Kid just died. Nope, didn't put your hand up. Kid just died again.
Another kid just died.
We have a pile up, and now Robin has something to talk about on her show. Hey, my friend Ted killed a bunch of kids today. It's so great. Yeah. So it's good. It's another similar to Brad Pitt. Wow, similar to Brad Pitt. He's a guy that didn't really grow up, and he didn't really grow out of when Robin knew him beforehand, and it shows, and it's a good display of James Van Der Beek in comedy, in intentional comedy. Yeah, because Dawson's Creek was funny.
Please don't talk about it again.
So Dawson's Creek, it was filmed
more
in Wilmington.
Appropriate analogy to Brad Pitt was when Taran Killam was on the show.
Oh yeah,
that's
that's true. Or the guy that played Scooter, because he's NPH's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Or
yeah,
the I Hate Barney fan club.
Allison Hannigan's husband. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Alexis Denisov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Drazen. That's another character from 24. God damn it. Anyway, yeah. So James Van Der Beek was great. He came back for a small role in another episode, another Robin Sparkles episode. It was the P.S. I Love You. Which wasn't a great episode, because like the second that it said P.S. I Love You, I was like, oh, P.S. is the initial Paul Schaefer. Okay, that mystery's gone. But yeah, he was good in it. Yeah. I think he parlayed that guest spot to be in into a starring role or main cast role or whatever in Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also, once that was canceled, was in Friends with Better Lives, I think.
Yeah.
Which was a short-run sitcom.
Did that get canceled already?
Yeah,
wow.
I think so. But yeah, so it's, I'm all for James Van Der Beek going the sitcom route, because much like Alicia Cuthbert in Happy Endings, I think that they're much like Alicia Cuthbert, he's an actor that is known for semi-dramatic roles that's often made fun of, and he just really shines in a sitcom setting, at least in these two episodes he was in.
What dramatic role is Alicia Cuthbert?
24.
Oh, she's known for that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what made her famous.
Yeah. She was Jack Bauer's daughter, who inexplicably was written into
the girl next door was what made her famous.
No.
24 was before that.
24 predates it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. 24 started in October of 2001. Yep. They actually had to edit out part of the pilot episode because it had a plane explosion.
That's awkward.
Yeah, a little bit. Damn terrorists. Anyway, again on How I Met Your Mother, Britney Spears had a semi-recurring role, a few episodes in one season. What'd you guys think of her in it?
Incredibly forgettable.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was very spacey.
Yeah.
And very like she was like, it wasn't like spacey like the character that she was playing was very spacey. It was spacey like she was struggling so hard to remember her lines.
Like Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spacey.
God damn it, Tyler.
Hey.
Anyway, no, there's a funny anecdote in the special features of How I Met Your Mother. I think it's in the commentary track, because I've listened to those. But the when at the table read, the first table read, I think Carter Bays or Craig Thomas introduced her to the cast and everything. It was like, we've got a guest star here. Is it Britney Spears? It was kind of funny the way that it was talked about on the commentary track. Which I'll jump into this real quick. If you have the How I Met Your Mother DVDs and want to check out a really funny commentary track, check out the commentary track for I Heart NJ or I Love New Jersey or whatever, that episode, because I think it's Carter Bays and Craig Thomas, they do the commentary track in character as two extras who were featured in the episode. And then they reach the part where the whole episode they're talking about how excited they are for their scene, and they're like, yeah, we have an interaction with Jason Segel, and it's like we do a funny joke and I improv it and stuff, and then they're like, they f***ing cut it. Yeah. And it's really funny.
I've heard it before. It's hilarious.
It's hysterical. So check that out on I think it's the season 4 DVD.
That's a shame that I won't be watching that.
Yeah.
On the flip side of Britney Spears, in terms of pop starlets, Katy Perry, I thought was actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, honey.
Oh honey.
Oh, honey.
She was good. I liked her.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, she's all right.
They used her well.
Plus Katy Perry.
Yeah. She's
Right.
She's an attractive female.
She is.
Yeah.
Before we move on to our next one, I kind of want to go back. You mentioned Alicia Cuthbert, and you mentioned happy endings. Just for me, I'd like to mention Lance Briggs' guest spot on Happy Endings.
Lance Briggs.
Lance Briggs is a linebacker for the Chicago Bears.
Oh, huh. I don't remember him. I need to rewatch Happy Endings.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's in the second season.
Okay.
And, of course, the show takes place in Chicago, which I love. And he does a guest spot.
Nice. What is he doing? Is it as him or?
Yeah, he's Lance Briggs.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember him, but that's cool. Nice. Should we move on?
Yeah.
Tiny. Do you want to bring this one up?
Sure, I don't remember it, but
Okay. This is Tiny, at Obsessive Tiny. Will Arnett on Parks and Rec.
yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember? That's what she said. I thought she said you don't remember which one. Okay, well, Will Arnett is at the time he was married to Amy Poehler, which apparently they've divorced now, which is kind of a bummer because I just read Mindy Kaling's book, and there's like this little section where she's like, yeah, this is how I know that Amy Poehler and Will Arnett are such a great couple and all that stuff. And I was like, wait, didn't they divorce? And I looked it up. I was like, wow, Mindy Kaling doesn't know what the she's talking about. But anyway, pretty good book though. Actually, check out my review of it on Obsessive Book Nerd in the future. But anyway, Will Arnett plays a blind date of Amy Poehler. And it's clearly another one of those, they're married in real life, let's be cute and have him date in the show. And he's such an obnoxious prick in the episode. It's so funny because he's like, what was it? Like, he's an MRI technician. And what's her name? I almost said Karen Filippelli. Rashida Jones.
Oh.
Yeah, Rashida Jones sets them up. And he is like they lead to, like, he's obnoxious at dinner and all that stuff, and then he's he takes her to the lab and gives her an MRI. And it's supposed to be like kind of a cute, like, first date kind of thing, but then it's just like he's like really obnoxious. He's like, can you stop talking? Can you stop moving your head? Just really hard for me to do the controls here when you're talking and moving your head and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's a good head. That's a good head. Yeah. And he's like, what's that? Oh. And then he kind of freaks her out, and he's like, there's something there. I don't know what that is, or what. Oh, it's just a smudge on the screen. That's fine. But it's just such a disastrous first date, and it's really funny to see because Will Arnett is fantastic. So yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good. I recommend it. So, Mike, do you want to bring up the next one?
Yeah, and this is only brief, and it's also kind of a joke, and he plays himself, so it's not like he stars anybody specific. I'm talking about Community and Luis Guzman, who I love, and there's a statue in front of Greendale Community College of Luis Guzman.
Yeah. It's a running gag throughout the first few seasons, and they finally got him on the show. It's one of the documentary episodes where the dean is creating a commercial for the for the college, and he goes all Colonel Kurtz and he goes crazy. And it's when I see this episode, I think, wow, Luis Guzman he's such a good sport. He's so cool in it. And it's really funny the way that they kind of tie it together. And he's kind of the heart. He's what brings the dean back to reality. And it's kind of cool how they kind of factored him into the episode, and they actually got him in the episode.
Yeah. I'm not even sure why I picked Luis Guzman first. I mean, they've got all kinds of guest stars on the show.
They really do.
Most notably, maybe not most notably, David Cross was on the show.
Can't remember him.
Yeah, he was the the son of Hickey.
Oh yeah, season 5 in the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was good. Rob Corddry was on the show. Chris Elliott was on the show. Ben Folds. Vince Gilligan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was one other one I was going to bring up that I can't remember.
Mitchell Hurwitz as Kugler.
Oh my god, that was so great. One of my favorite episodes of the series too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yep. Giancarlo Esposito.
There you go.
What'd you guys think of Betty White? Because I feel like she was in the premiere in a couple episodes of season 2, I think. But I feel like they were capitalizing on her popularity.
Definitely.
And it was kind of like, okay. I mean, they kind of made, well, they didn't really make a gag at that, but it was just kind of like, okay, she's kind of old.
Yeah, we've talked about on the show before just that bubbles popped.
That's true.
And and it has now. Clearly it has. But
yeah, I think we talked
I was
about
rolling my eyes even then.
Yeah. I think we talked about it on the Lost Community episode that we did.
Yeah.
That was marred by the same technical difficulties that have been troubling us recently.
Yes.
So anyway, unreleased episode. So anyway, yeah, and then Michael K. Williams was also on it. It's funny because he plays the professor in season 3, biology professor. He's kind of this like when we brought it up, Tiny said repeated the line. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's like he's berating or disciplining the study group, and he was like, you know what? In prison, we had a word for people like you. You would have been called the mean clique. It's just hilarious, but it's kind of funny because I was listening to Gillian Jacobs on an episode of Comedy Bang Bang, I think, or maybe something else. But she was talking about how season 3, Dan Harmon, like in the break between seasons 2 and 3, Dan Harmon binge watched The Wire, which Michael K. Williams is a very prominent actor in that show. Yeah, so great. Omar coming, y'all. Anyway, the game is the game. Anyway, so I'm broken. So
let's get a sandwich. I don't know. I never saw the show. I'm guessing.
So anyway, well, they eat a sandwich one or two at some point. So anyway, so he wrote. I think he may have written the role specifically for Michael K. Williams, and it was just he got him. But if you watch the end of the season, the end of season 3, they do this musical montage that plays over all the characters doing stuff and everything, and it's patterned after the way The Wire did season finales, ending montages, because each season finale ended with a musical driven montage with all the characters kind of wrapping up what they're doing. I need to watch The Wire again, guys. So I can be snooty and talk about how it's the greatest show on television.
Yeah. Oh, God. The Wire.
It reminds me of, there's a gag on Family Guy where they're like, they talk about how douchebags are like, oh, you won't shut up about The Wire and Breaking Bad. And it's really funny. But anyway, yeah. So The Wire is good. But next one, Mike, how about you bring us into this one? We should probably cut this pretty short soon.
Arrested Development?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Arrested Development is the next one we have on our list, and we specifically listed Martin Short, so we'll talk about him, but there are, of course, more.
Yeah.
And he plays, I guess, Uncle in quotes. What's his name? What's his character's name?
Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack.
Yeah. The like 40s or 50s like
fitness guru kind of guy.
Guru and kind of TV show sidekick or something.
I don't know,
but he's like, shoot me. And anyway, honestly, I mean, season 2 of Arrested Development is one of the best seasons of a sitcom I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I feel like this episode is like the weak point of it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I wasn't really on board with the Martin Short gag, the whole premise of him being this 90-year-old fitness guru who can't use his legs and has this guy that's walking that it becomes his legs, and kind of a Hodor Bran Stark kind of thing. Wow, yeah, that was wow. Anyway, it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, it's a little bit of a ridiculous premise.
So instead, let's call back to an earlier point in this episode, and how about you can talk about Zach Braff on Girls with Low Self-Esteem.
Yeah, he was good. We got a surfboard in the shot. But no, he was good. You know.
Or Scott Baio as blah blah blah.
Scott Baio.
There you go.
We were just talking about him last night. Yeah,
Blah blah blah's law blog.
Couldn't remember the actor's name. Yeah, I love that because when Lindsay does her chicken dance, she goes chachi chachi chachi, which is a reference to Scott Baio in Happy Days. Which the fact that they got
I never noticed that.
Oh, really?
Because she starts. She says chicha, 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 and you're absolutely right. But I always just heard chicha space, chicha space.
Yep, chachi chachi chachi, and the whole fact that he is brought in to replace Henry Winkler's character. Like, he actually has a line where he's like, "This isn't the first time I've been brought in to replace Barry Zuckerkorn." Because his role in Happy Days.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's you know, fun times, you know.
All right, fans, get your notebooks ready because here's my Mike's wife reference of the week. Amanda does not watch Arrested Development. I think she gave it a try. I know.
Man.
She gave it a try, and I just think it's too kinetic. It's too hyper. It's too hyper for her attention span. You really have to invest in the show, despite she is the type of person, this is sad to say, I love my wife, really I do. She is the type of person that killed the show.
Oh, I see.
Right? She is the type of person who can okay, if I watch it, it's good, but I don't really want to watch it.
Wow.
But when they got to the blah 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 episode, that was a gag that she laughed out loud.
Nice. My Girlfriend's Play had a reference to Job in it, so, you know, just saying.
The biblical Job or Job Bluth?
Job Bluth. They played
What about Ben
countdown.
Stiller?
Ben Stiller was good in it. Tony Wonder. Season 4, I felt like that storyline was kind of weird.
Oh, with them together?
Yeah, I thought it was just kind of
great.
Really? See,
yeah.
I kind of need to rewatch it again because season 4 was one of those seasons of TV that was just kind of like they tried something different, and it was kind of a lot of it was on point for me, but some of it was just kind of like don't know what they're trying to do here. Yeah.
Well, they didn't try something different. They were kind of forced into something different.
Right, yeah, that's true.
But yeah, you're right. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
As the blind lawyer.
Yeah.
Amy Poehler, to call back to earlier in the episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Jane Lynch.
Yeah. Good stuff.
She was on the show. Yeah. And then, of course, Franklin Delano Bluth.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, so good stuff. Great
show. That's the show I need to rewatch next.
Yeah, it's hard telling which ones I'll rewatch.
Which shows?
Yeah, which shows. I'm in the mood to rewatch something, but I'm not sure which one.
Seinfeld.
If it was on Netflix, I totally would. But I can't really get to it. Tiny, do you want to bring up the last one on our list?
Yes. The last one on the list is the incomparable John Goodman on The West Wing. Just a phenomenal run on that show. Can't really talk about it without spoiling it, unfortunately. And Matt hasn't gotten to that part yet.
I haven't.
Because it's taken him like 17 years to watch the show.
A year and a half.
It's been longer than that. Anyways, it's awesome. He basically plays the Speaker of the House, and he kind of has run-ins with the Bartlett administration. He's in like 4 episodes. He's just phenomenal, and it's spread out across a couple seasons, his appearances. I don't want to spoil it because I just want people to see it. It's awesome.
I'm familiar with the plot of it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. He kind of comes in and plays this like real hard ass, like real like Republican right wing. You know, we're the the baddest country in the world kind of person, and it's just such a contrast to President Bartlett that it's and just the way he plays it perfectly. And the other one of his chief of staff is played by Željko Ivanek, who just a character actor you've seen in like a million things.
He was in 24.
Yeah, and he's just awesome. He's been in a lot of stuff too. So just the combination of all this whole new cast coming in and just kind of like butting heads with everybody else, it's just so fantastic.
Nice.
And John Goodman is John Goodman. I mean, he's never bad. He takes crappy stuff and makes it awesome. So he's a great. Also another guest star on Community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Going through some stuff.
Yeah. It's a great joke. So yeah. Is that the end of our list?
I think so, and we're running kind
that's
of
the end.
long, but
Yeah, we're running long here.
We have reached the end. Every guest spot ever.
it certainly feels like it. Sort of.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. So, and sorry to cut in again, but we have the same issues again. If you have any idea what's going on here, please email us and let us know. We're recording in Audacity and it's a problem. But anyway, I apologize for the sound issues this episode. You guys want to bring us into Potpourri?
Potpourri.
Tiny, do you want to bring us into Potpourri? JK. I mean, if you don't, you have a headache.
Sure.
Okay.
We ready to go?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it. I was just saying,
being
yeah, let's do it.
I was being a dick because I thought that's your way of going into Potpourri, Mike. And I was like, Tiny, do you want to bring us in? All right, let's go to Potpourri.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it?
Sure.
All right. So that brings us to the end of that discussion, which means it's time for everybody's favorite portion of the show, Potpourri. It's where we talk about something we've seen or something we're looking forward to seeing. Matt, you start.
Oh, yay. Let's see. Well, in response to the sad news of Robin Williams' passing, last week I've been watching a few movies of his. I rewatched Mrs. Doubtfire, and I posted this on the Facebook page. It's endearing because the premise is so nonsensical and ridiculous, but he plays the role of a divorced dad who's struggling to get his kids back with so much earnest and heartfelt acting that it just really elevates the movie for me. It's just a really good performance, and I also saw Jumanji, which is pretty good. Then today I just watched Patch Adams, which is a really good performance of his, of course. Also, it's kind of not eerie, but it kind of put a tone of melancholy in my viewing for it, because in the movie he's roommates in medical school with a character who's played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. So they have interactions together. It just kind of bummed me out because we both lost them this year. Other than that, really quickly, I watched the pilot episode of Cheers, which I never watched Cheers before because I loved Wings as a kid, which I've talked about before. And I love Wings, and I was always kind of hesitant to watch Cheers because I thought, what if Cheers is better than Wings? And I just the pilot episode is just really good. Tony Danza is great, and Shelley Long is great. They have a good chemistry, and I'm looking forward to watching more episodes of the 11 seasons of the show. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my potpourri. Any thoughts on it, guys?
Ted Danson.
Did I say
You said Tony Danza.
Tony Danza? I did? I meant Ted Danson.
Tony Danson.
Yeah. Tony Danson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ted Danson. Right?
Ted Danson.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Ted, just imagine him dancing.
God.
I'm so tired. I have to work tonight. Anyway, so
I'll take my shot at my my Robin Williams retrospective. Last night we watched Mrs. Doubtfire, just like you did. And I go through ups and downs with Mrs. Doubtfire. I didn't like it just this last recent time that I watched it about a year and a half ago, because the ending is so absurd, and it's still absurd. But
It really
I
is.
guess what's that?
I was just agreeing with you. Sorry.
Yeah. Something about the nostalgia and something about the events of last week. I really enjoyed watching it, especially having everybody over at the house for the first time, checking it out, and we did a movie, and it was kind of a fun experience. But we followed it up with Good Will Hunting, which was just fantastic. It's in my top 10, and it has been probably since the first time I saw it. And I loved the movie even more, and it made me miss Robin Williams even more. So it was a very bittersweet time watching movies. To go away from that, I know you guys saw, I just recently watched, I finally watched the new Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, how'd you feel about it? I know you're a big fan.
I am a big fan. I still collect the action figures, as you guys know. A lot of my friends know. So I'm quite obsessive about it, but I'm still, 4 or 5 days later, trying to figure out how I felt about the movie, to be honest with you guys. And that's why I know that I said that I might write a review for the website, but I just can't find my angle. I just can't find the first word. I saw it with a group of 6 or 7 people, and like half of them absolutely hated it, and half of them really enjoyed the time. They liked it a lot. My buddy Jake, who was sitting next to me, in fact, said that he liked it more than Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think is absurd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Might have to have a talk with Jake.
Yeah, I know. But there was so much about it that I did like that I'm having trouble being a rational thinking moviegoer who knows that the movie was really a mess. I mean, the movie was pure mess. Tonally, it was all over the place. The plot was absolutely ridiculous. The turtles, for the most part, didn't look that bad, but looked about as weird as you might expect. Shredder wasn't scary. Splinter looked horrendous. But something about it worked. Something about it made me have a good time, and I didn't leave the way I leave, like, say, a Transformers movie.
That's something, Mike, I'm just taking a stab in the dark. I'm just going to say Michelangelo. He was fantastic in it.
You mean Raphael?
It was Michelangelo.
That was Michelangelo. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. He was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what kind of hooked me on it, was that I loved the comic relief in it. I thought he was fantastic. But yeah, there were a lot of problems. The dialogue was... there was one part where I laughed out loud in the theater, and I said, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And I tried to keep myself from laughing hysterically and disrupting the viewing for everyone else in the theater.
Yeah.
It was so ridiculous.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dialogue and just so much blatant exposition.
Mm-hmm.
So much telling rather than showing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad.
Yeah.
But still fun. And I guess you're right, it was Michelangelo. But even some of the special effects, there was no ninjutsu of any sort. But like the scene in the snow was a blast to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about it worked. Maybe you guys can put better words in my mouth, but I'm not coming up with them.
Will you be buying it on Blu-ray when it is released?
Well, yeah, but that says nothing.
Yeah, would it be
about...
would it be more as an obligation, or will you be like, "Oh, I can't wait to see this again"?
I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Okay, interesting.
If only to see if I still feel the same way.
Okay.
I imagine I won't.
Yeah, I probably won't buy it. I saw it once. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my experience, and I mean, I'm probably not going to think much about it. And that's also due to just having a lot of good movies come out this summer. Like, we've had a really good summer.
Yeah.
So
I liked the movie a lot. I was so expecting to not like it at all, but just was so wonderfully surprised. To your comments, Mike, I remember you saying so much of it was like just a ridiculous plot and stuff. It has to be, doesn't it? Because we're talking about a ridiculous premise for a movie. We're talking about mutant turtles who are ninjas. So I mean,
right.
It just has to be silly. I think, I don't know. I was talking to another friend about it, and I was like, how where can you go with this franchise? And I'm not as familiar with the source material and whatnot as others are, but like what else could you get from this franchise besides pretty silly premise and ridiculousness and a lot of comedy, some fun action? Like what more can you really expect from it? That's kind of what to anyone who's being overly critical of it, not to say that you were, because you're absolutely not, but to anyone who's like really criticizing it, I'm like, well, what would you do? I mean, honestly, you can't Dark Knight the Turtles.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Well,
right.
You're right, and to that I say you make a good point. However, there are dumber things that have much better results. And in fact, in the same universe, the Ninja Turtles comic is incredibly mature and well done. And I know they can't go that way. They can't go really mature. But the movie was PG-13, so it's not like they're going for the little kids. So I guess my complaint is they can't, and sorry to borrow a cliche, but they can't have their cake and eat it too.
Right. Okay. And you say in the comics that it's very mature and serious and everything. Does that include the origin? Because could it be that the exposition of putting the origin in this kind of puts a reflection on how kind of ridiculous the premise is as a whole?
No, the origin is very similar. In fact, I think they borrowed the movie origin from the origin of the comic book.
Okay.
And so I wouldn't say the origin in this movie is what bothered me.
Okay.
To me, it just seems like maybe this is probably a lack of imagination on my part, but I think this is about as good as the Turtles get, in my opinion. And the original one back in the 90s, which I still... Maybe that's more nostalgia than actual quality.
Right.
But
I argue the first one has quality.
Okay. It's very dark. Much darker than I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they reconciled in the sequel. But yeah, I don't know. I just think this is about as good as it gets for the Turtles, in my opinion. And again, maybe it's just a lack of imagination on my part and a lack of familiarity with the source material, but that's just how I feel.
I made the remark, like, when I went in to see it, or like in the lead up to seeing it, like Tiny sent me a text and was like, hey, do you want to see Ninja Turtles this weekend? And I was like, I wasn't looking forward to seeing this movie. I mean, I was a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles as a kid, but I was just like, I guess I'll see it. And I was pleasantly surprised, and I think part of that is just due to low expectations, which is another reason why I won't be buying it. I don't know if I'll see it again, because I want to preserve that memory, because I know that once I see it again, I'll pick it apart, and it'll be just, I won't enjoy it as much as I did in the theater.
Yeah. Okay.
So Tiny, what's your potpourri?
My potpourri, I hope it doesn't turn into a discussion, but like that was. But I finally watched Nebraska.
Oh, dude. Go ahead.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't, I think it's pretty overrated.
Really?
I don't know if I would have nominated it for any Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Including acting.
Yeah.
Not even,
June Squibb?
June Squibb?
Not really.
Really?
Didn't really care for her.
Huh.
Thought she was kind of bland.
Wow.
Bland isn't the right word. I thought she was very stiff.
Huh.
I just didn't, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. There was plenty of the movie that I liked a lot. I loved freaking cracked up at like all the old man stuff. Like when Bruce Dern and all of his brothers are sitting there watching the Bears game.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you still got that old Chevy? He's like, no, I never had a Chevy. And it's just like the most boring.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that conversation before, and just that cracked me up. That was really funny. And the thing with the air compressor was funny as hell. So there was a lot of good stuff in the movie, but I don't know. Ultimately, I just thought it just had such a strange tone to it. It was like, I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it, but there was some quality about it that I really didn't care for. I love the black and white. I think that was a great choice.
Yeah.
That was a good choice for it. Just kind of had like that Dust Bowl black and white bland feel. That was good, but there's just some quality to it that I really just didn't mesh with me. I don't know what I really wish I could elaborate. But yeah, I think it's a little overrated. But still, I still want other people to see it though.
Yeah.
Because I'm really, maybe it's just something I'm missing, or I don't know.
One of my favorite movies of the year so far.
Wow.
I've seen, yeah.
What came out last year?
Well,
The movie is that
of the movies that I've seen this year for the first
Oh,
time.
that you've watched this year.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
I watched it shortly before the Oscars, and I felt pretty similarly to you, Tiny.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. It was not for me.
Huh. I connected to it, and I'll probably go on a rant here. I connected to it on a much more personal level than you guys did, because aspects of it reminded me of things in my family.
Okay.
That I probably won't elaborate on here, but it reminded me so much of certain things that are like are personal to me, and I kind of just ran with that, and it was like it emotionally hooked me into it. Like some of the dialogue, similar to you, Tiny. Some of the dialogue is dialogue that I've seen, and it's like the more like kind of depressing dialogue. That's more of how burdensome some characters are and stuff, and it kind of just spoke to me on a personal level. And it was also, I loved the very realistic look at small town life.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes, because like I think I said in an earlier episode that it really took the Hollywood romanticism of small town life and just completely flipped it the bird and was like, this is what it's really like to live in this small town.
Yeah.
And how people are just so vindictive and so just awful to each other, and how it's just so terrible to live in these small towns.
Yeah.
And the humor was really good. I thought Will Forte was really good in a dramatic role, and I think he and Bruce Dern, their whole arc throughout the whole movie was just really well done with good chemistry. And like that scene at the bar when they're talking and Bruce Dern's just drinking, and I'm just like, that's so. I mean, it just kind of bummed me out a little bit. And the scene with June Squibb at the cemetery, my God, that scene just kicked my ass.
Really?
Yeah, because you can see, because like she's going off and she's talking about how just like, oh, your sister was a whore and all that stuff, and it's funny. But then if you pay attention to Bruce Dern in that scene, like you can see just the pain that he's emoting in that scene, and it's just like. She's his wife, and he has like no other family pretty much, and she's talking about these people that are important to him, and they're at their final resting place, and it's just like she's saying the most despicable things about them, and like his face is just tearing apart. It's really sad to me. And I just loved it. I bought it recently. I need to watch it again. But it's one of my favorite movies I've seen this year for the first time. So,
cool.
So yeah, it's a bummer that you guys didn't like it that much, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, I would give it like a 6.5, maybe. I don't know. If I saw it again, maybe I'd give it a 7 out of 10. But so it was. I don't have a whole bunch of bad stuff to say about it.
Right.
I kind of had. Not necessarily high expectations, but I thought it'd be a little bit better than I ended up liking it.
Yeah.
I thought I'd like it a little more than I did.
Fair enough. And I totally admit, I mean, I have that personal bias to it. It's just one of those movies that spoke to me. Like same with a couple years ago when I saw Take This Waltz, and I was like, this is the most amazing and tragic movie I've ever seen. You guys are like, it's okay. It's one of those things that like those are two examples of movies that just speak to me on a personal level that I can't really articulate and don't really want to articulate why, but it just has a profound impact on me on a personal level, which is a great way to describe any kind of art. So yeah,
it's one of those qualities you just can't. It's like an untouchable quality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, You don't have to defend it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
cool. Nebraska.
Parting thoughts on that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. Does that do it for us?
Yeah.
Where did I put my... Oh, here it is. All right, so I guess I'll count us out then once I find my notes.
a two, a 1, 2, 3.
As always, thank you for listening to the Obsessive Viewer podcast. And thank you to Loud Like for providing our awesome opening theme music. Their first EP is called Mistakes We Must Make and features our theme song and a clips of events. If you want to listen to the full song, check it out on iTunes, anywhere else you find music. I'll put links in the show notes for you. Also, I apologize for the sound issues that we've been experiencing. I'm glad that we caught it this time, but we'll work on fixing it. We're trying to diagnose the problem. So we'll try to fix that in the future. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes, audio quality notwithstanding. Hope you listen, or hope you put your thoughts on the content into your reviews. If you do, we really appreciate it. And please like our Facebook page at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer and follow each of us on Twitter. You can find me, Matt, at obsessiveviewer, Tiny is at obsessivetiny, and Mike is at IamMikeWhite. You can also check out the blog at obsessiveviewer.com, where we have reviews, commentary, all kinds of stuff about movies and TV shows that you'll be sure to waste a lot of time on reading. Also check out our sister site, obsessivebooknerd.com, where we review books and provide commentary on the ever-evolving world of reading. And check out Tiny's side project, thesecularperspective.com, which is a podcast devoted to the healthy discussion and debate about secularism and religion in the world today, and how I need to write that into the note. Religion and secularism and how they intertwine and interact in the world today. Finally, if you have any thoughts on the podcast or suggestions for future topics, you can also email us at each individually at matt@obsessiveviewer.com, tiny@obsessiveviewer.com, and mike@obsessiveviewer.com. That about does it. Thanks again to Tung Law for providing the awesome the radio bit that we put at the beginning of this episode. Check them out at brocoolnation.com. It's televised, uncensored. I guess that about does it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Okay.
Mike, do you want to take DJ Qualls?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't know. Is that so much a guest spot? I mean, DJ Qualls isn't really anybody. He's like a character actor.
Well, I'm thinking more just the actual episode, because he was really good in it with the whole cold open.
I can also say I don't remember it.
Really?
I don't remember it either.
Where Badger is sitting on the park bench waiting to make a drop or something, or he's like, and DJ Qualls walks up and he's like, "Hey, you got some drugs or whatever I can buy," and then they have that back and forth, and DJ Qualls tricks him into selling him drugs, and it turns out he's a cop. He does the whole like, I'm not a cop, but if you were to ask me if I was a cop, then I have to tell you if I'm a cop. And it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
And Badger falls for it. Remember that?
I just don't think that that's a guest spot.
Well, he appeared later in the episode too. It wasn't just like a cameo in the cold open.
I know, but what I mean is, like, I'm trying to evaluate what the guest is or what a cameo is. Like, Brad Pitt was next week on Friends. Brad Pitt. Next week on Scrubs. Michael J. Fox. Next week on How I Met Your Mother. James Vanderbeek. Next week on Breaking Bad. DJ Qualls. Who?
Well, you're splitting hairs between special guest star and just guest star. I mean, DJ Qualls was an unusual actor for that show, and they got him for it. But it wasn't like a special guest star. I see what you're saying, though, because he is kind of the odd man out of this whole thing.
I do. I think he's like a hired man. I think he's hired work. I think he's just.
Yeah, but it was memorable. It's not. I mean, it's not like.
Not for Tiny and me.
Well, if you watch the scene, it's memorable.
I'm trying to look at like Seinfeld ones, but the thing about Seinfeld is like they were all just kind of just guest work for a day before they were famous people.
Okay. Well,
you know what I mean? Like Molly Shannon, Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, I could go down the list. For Jeremy Piven, Kathy Griffin, French Stewart, Peter Krause, James. But like these are all people that nobody knew until after they appeared on Seinfeld.
But I honestly don't think that we should differentiate between that, though. I mean, if they became famous, sure. But I mean, if they have memorable guests, well, I don't know.
Because they're not guest stars.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
Add Michael K. Williams was only 3 episodes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if we didn't differentiate, we can talk about Terry Hatcher as much as we can talk about the guy who played the Soup Nazi.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Soup Nazi was great.
But again, not a star.
Yeah, but I mean, but in the credits it says guest starring guy who played Soup Nazi.
Does it?
Does it?
It would be. It wouldn't be. What else would it be? He wouldn't be in the main cast. It's a guest starring role. He's a guest star. He's not.
But they're not stars.
But it's a guest star. Do you?
But okay, we're talking about Brad Pitt and Michael K. Williams.
Oh, I know,
like,
but
why would you
I'm
bring
just
up this
saying.
guy who played. He's famous for one role, and it's the role we're going to talk about. Like, I don't think.
But it's a memorable guest star role. It's not guest. It's semantics. Is there anyone else from Arrested Development we can throw in?